First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for BDElite. We are live on Twitch.
Yes, you're stealing my line. Twitch.tv/upNXT
Hello, Twitch room.
Hello, Twitch room.
Yeah, welcome to the show. This is Up Next, of course, but we talk about Dynamite as well on Wednesday nights, I guess you could say. Every Wednesday night, we record this show live on Twitch, and then you can find it wherever you found your podcast. And yeah, we're trying out this new red circle thing today. I had some issues last night with Up Next. I uploaded the wrong file after all that.
Did a solo show. I woke up this morning and heard someone tweeted like I smoked a bowl and then put it on, and I listened to Davie do a one-man show, and I was like, what? But yeah, teething problems, but all is good. The right file is up there. You can hear all of our thoughts, both of our thoughts on last night's NXT 2.0 on this feed. And again, as we said yesterday, any issues, just refresh that RSS feed. But it seems kind of pointless saying this because you're listening to us now, so I guess it's all good.
Yeah, and if you're listening to us, hey, thanks for checking us out.
Thank
of course,
you.
we do Up Next every week where we talk about NXT 2.0. But yeah, we do this show where we talk about Dynamite, and we do it every Wednesday. We're going to be doing it every Wednesday, talking about it, but we're also going to be doing a show for the pay-per-view that they've been promoting for the past little while. Revolution is on Sunday, March 6th. So we both are going to be doing stuff to watch the show. So I guess now is a better time than ever that we're actually going to do a Revolution post show on the Monday.
Yes.
On the Monday, the 7th of March, we are going to be doing our little review. So we'll probably go live on Twitch when we record that. But of course, it'll be out on this free feed for you guys too. So look forward to that. Probably during the day, I think. We were going to say like noon or something.
I think so, yeah. Around 12 for you and around like 5 for us over here in the UK.
Right. Yeah. So looking forward to that as well. Chatting some Revolution in the coming weeks. But the reason we're doing that is we're not going to go live afterwards because I think you're going to be going out to a bar to watch the show for Revolution somewhere out there in London territory, but I'm going to be doing something for AEW Revolution here in Toronto. So again, any GTA Toronto area people who want to hang out and watch AEW Revolution, well, follow our socials, the Facebook group, all that, and get a ticket. Eventbrite is where you can go. $10 or something like that. Some change added there, but $15 at the door is what we're going to do. We're going to have some beer, we're gonna have some food, and we're gonna watch some Dynamite. And I hope to see some of you people there who are some Toronto area listeners. So come on out, because I may have mentioned yesterday we're gonna have a raffle for some prizes, and I got told of what one of the prizes was today, and it has to do with AEW. And I will say it is a very expensive prize.
Is this Tony Khan I'm hearing over there? Is this an announcement for an announcement? You're gonna change the foundations of raffles forever at the AEW Revolution watch party. Yeah,
it's gonna be a huge raffle. Yeah, so go get your tickets beforehand because we're not sure how many people will be able to fill in there. But go check us out if you are again in the Toronto, Ontario area. Get in the car, drive on up. I saw Brandon from New Jersey was looking at flights. He's like, yo, I'm from Toronto. Come on up.
And the link for the tickets is also on the kind of description for this podcast. So if you're in the kind of Toronto area and you're thinking of going to that, the link is there for it, as well as the link for the WrestleMania podcasting weekend we've got going on the 3rd of April in Leeds. So if you're in the UK and want to go to BritRes Podcasting Isn't Dead on April the 3rd, you can get tickets for that as well. So all of that's in the description for this show, and get your tickets now before they sell out.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to just be able to meet or hang out with any of you guys who are willing to come out and watch some Dynamite. Let me know. Again, Facebook and the Twitter is the best way to get a hold of us, of course. And let us know that you're coming. And we can't wait because it'll be super fun. And this pay-per-view is looking stacked. I mean, we're definitely going to get into some Dynamite talk. But I thought tonight did a great job of getting me even more hyped for a pay-per-view. But it seems like there's like some other news that was going on before Dynamite that definitely has to do with AEW. I mean, we kind of knew signing new people is the thing here.
AEW.
Yeah, AEW, because I mean, we heard that Keith Lee came in, and then we knew that Buddy Matthews was going to come in. We just weren't sure what the deal with that was at the point. But then I saw that Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful reported today that Shane Strickland, aka Isaiah Swerve Scott, has signed to All Elite Wrestling. So another new person potentially showing up in AEW in the near future, which I have been behind. They signed the two people I think I wanted them to sign out of all the people that go. I think I remember months and months. I was like, just get Keith Lee and Swerve. Those guys they're phenomenal talent that I think were being wasted on WWE. I'm just so behind Swerve Scott. I think there was something there with that whole like bringing in the hip hop with the character was working really well, and then they just totally ruined that. So I'm super excited to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Shane Strickland. I think he's just got it. I think it's such a shame that he was released in WWE, because I think I've said this before, but I find it baffling with the kind of direction they wanted to go with 2.0. Hit Row should have been front and center of that whole thing. If they're trying to attract like a younger audience, it baffles me, that release. But he is too talented to go to waste. And yeah, we'll see. I still do have kind of my gripes with AEW, with a lot of their like shiny new toys that they get. Kind of like Keith Lee's looking mighty dusty already after 2 weeks, if you ask me. But I want to see more of this guy. I was lucky enough to see him here in London just the other day, and it's pretty cool. That, I mean, maybe he'll be in that ladder match. Who knows? Like they might have a couple of surprises maybe for that, because we still got some places left to fill for that match. So
yeah, and I saw the rest of Hit Row. They're calling themselves the Hit Makers now.
Okay.
And they're going to be at GCW, which is weird because there's a like a popular hip hop producer who I think doesn't he call himself the Hitmaker because his tag is Hitmaker. So I know they're calling themselves that, but no Swerve with them, and just the announcement of Swerve only is the one coming in here, which I'm like, hey, you know what? The guy was
absolutely fine on his own, I think.
Yeah, he was an act before. He was definitely a big act before Hit Row as well. But yeah, I'm super stoked. I know we're gonna get you might not get this, but in like 2006 WWE ECW, you had CM Punk show up and Shannon Moore was there, and CM Punk just looks up and down him and says, "You're a poser," and just slaps him. You're gonna have Shane Swerve Strickland,
the realist.
He's gonna come,
yeah,
the realist. He's gonna come in one day and he's just gonna look at Max Caster and he's gonna do the same bit and just smack him and say, "No, I'm taking over this. You can't have more than one rap gimmick." I just don't want to see the Acclaimed with Swerve.
I don't think we'll see that. I don't
think so either. Yeah. But I am super stoked.
Yeah. Let's see how he fits in there. But TK also teasing like another big announcement, something he he can't. It's not completely a done deal yet, but something he's very excited about. Yeah, what do you make of this? Any kind of predictions what this could be?
Yeah, look, I love AEW. They totally revitalized my fandom for pro wrestling, and I can still poke fun at some of the silly things I think they do, and I think it's TK always doing this, because TNA used to be notorious for this. They'd say tune into the pay-per-view because someone's gonna show up. It's gonna something's gonna. They used to fall on that so hard, and I feel like now it's becoming the thing here where people are like, all right, well, now it's just every week someone's getting signed or something's going to happen. But he says something big and it's a deal. And there were reports, I think it was also Fightful, who said that Jonathan Gresham was also either backstage or something to do with AEW. So I'm wondering if, I don't know if he's bringing in Gresham, if it's something to do with Ring of Honor. I know there was talks, quote unquote, that the Forbidden Door swings both ways, if you catch my drift. So maybe people will go from different places to different places. I'm not too sure. But.
Yeah, the way he was speaking, it didn't necessarily sound like a signing, like a talent or something. It gave me the impression that it's maybe something a bit bigger than that. So maybe I don't know, so much as an acquisition of ROH, but something with ROH could be a thing. Maybe they'll be involved with the Supercard of Honor show that they'll be promoting for WrestleMania weekend, perhaps. Or maybe it's something like some streaming deal or something where you're going to have like their own kind of network, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what?
It just feels like some sort of more businessy thing than necessarily I got another talent, because they get another talent every week, it seems.
I will say, last weekend for the Super Bowl, I went and hung out with my brothers, and they were like, "Oh, like, you know, AEW, show me some stuff from that." And I go to the YouTube page of AEW, and I was trying to find them like some Dynamite matches, but AEW doesn't upload full matches on their YouTube. So I'm like, okay, where am I? How do I show them what happened? Okay, let me find alternative means or Daily Motion or whatever, just to trying to find certain like Dynamite matches that I think were hot to just put on to show my brothers. And I couldn't find them. It was very difficult. And literally my brother, who knows nothing about any of this, was like, oh, don't they have like a streaming service? Don't they have like their network? And I was like, you'd figure they do, or they were on some other thing. It's just like in the day of modern world, like things have moved so fast with streaming services. The fact that I can watch Sebastian Stan and his talking penis on Pam and Tommy on Disney Plus. Like, why can't I find my wrestling that fast?
I mean,
on streaming
over
services?
here we've got the Fight subscription, so you can go back and watch old Dynamites and Rampages. And all that.
Okay.
They're all on there, and it's actually pretty good. And so whenever I watch it, it's the feed with like no commercials, and I can pause and rewind and that sort of thing, which is pretty cool. But yeah, obviously with the kind of TV deals in the US and Canada, that's not a thing. So I would assume, I don't know what stream service is linked with like Turner, but that is something I think you could have. Frank in the chat is saying they have some old episodes on Bleacher Report in the States, but yeah, something with like a navigation like WWE has, where you can actually search for specific matches rather than episodes and things like that, would be good. So I don't know if that's perhaps, but that's I don't know. That's the impression I'm getting from Tony Khan, that it's something businessy, like a streaming deal or a, like, as we said, maybe something with ROH. There was the talks of Gresham being around there. But yeah, as always, lots of news with AEW and perhaps little deals and stuff that's going on.
Yeah, because like a service for them would be good, because or just maybe utilize their YouTube a bit better. Because again, I was just like, okay, what should I put on? And my brother's like, hey, I like Kenny Omega, and I heard Danielson's there. I never saw any of his matches yet. I was like, hold on, let's go. AEW, YouTube, full match, nothing. Nada. And I'm like, why don't you?
I get the impression
WWE does that
with the fact that they've got Dark and Dark Elevation and all that, and they've got a lot of these talents they're like growing from the ground up. You know how it's kind of, you've got those hidden gems on the network, like you'll find John Cena versus Daniel Bryan on Velocity in 2003 or whatever it is, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Cena will attest to this. Those Dark and Elevation tapings are so long. You've got like 17 matches on it and things like that. I can totally see it as a way of them building their library. So eventually when they do get that sort of deal, it's like, well, look, we've got X hours of content and things, and you'd be able to search for someone who started on Dark in 2019 and now they're the world champ, and you can see their first match in the company by just a click, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it would be cool though if they just like, especially matches that have surpassed. Like, I know it was a pay-per-view, but if I am Tony Khan on my AEW YouTube, I would write. It's been a year plus. I would put the Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman. I would upload the Grand Slam match as a full match. I would upload cherry pick certain things and be like, hey, like this, that's what WWE does. And in the same search, my brother was like, I can't find any AEW full matches, but here's a WWE video with, 80 million views. That's Big Show versus Great Khali. So, and I could go and watch that on WWE's YouTube from a few years ago. Just like use these things. Like, no one's going to go back and order a pay-per-view from 2 years ago or whatever. But
I think there is a way to be a bit more strategic, certainly with their YouTube. Like, we just had a few weeks ago, Sammy Guevara versus what's his name in the ladder match for the TNT title, and you would think it's been long enough now since their first match. They had the first match on pay-per-view, was it, or Dynamite? That'd be something you put on YouTube. You promote it through the week, and say what you will about Impact, that's something they've always been quite good at. As soon as someone shows up on AEW, you'll be sure to see their greatest hits coming up on YouTube, being tweeted out from Impact and that sort of thing. So I think they could definitely be a bit more strategic with promoting their stuff using their YouTube.
Yeah, even New Japan. I mean, they upload stuff for free after the fact. Like, if Okada versus Naito is happening, they'll probably be like, hey, here's Okada Naito from, like, I don't know, yesterday, the day before that, a year before that, 2 years ago. Here's all of them. No, I actually watched Okada Naito, and I loved it. I watched the match from this week, and Okada can do no wrong. Although I won't go on Twitter and say Okada was and always will be better than Naito, because I'm sure that they'll come out of the woodwork for me on Twitter again. Yeah, I'm still getting notifications and hate, just pure hate about how wrong I am or how right I am. But internet wrestling Twitter is definitely interesting. Make sure you follow us, guys, at upNXT Podcast, at the Brady, at Davie Portman, because that's where you get all such hot takes, which isn't really a hot take.
Well, I mean, Sean's more entertaining in ring, but maybe less good a person. But I put that match on earlier. And
Okada
Naito, and I had a lovely nap. It was great. Naito came to the ring, and I snoozed, and then woke up with Okada cutting a promo, holding the title. So, I think now I've got to be smart on these Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because we don't just record upNXT and BDElite. We also record our Patreon shows on these days. So we record 2 shows each day, and we've just recorded. We did our Was Next review yesterday, reviewing the July 31st, 2013 NXT. And we reviewed Les Mis just earlier today, the 2012 Tom Hooper film, joined by world champion patron Chris Leone. And you can find them on the patreon.com/upnext. But I definitely need to try and get some sort of nap on these like long nights, because it is late. I'm finishing over here. And now I've realized all I need to do is put on a Naito entrance, and maybe by the time he's unzipping his trousers, I'm fast asleep. It's pretty useful.
I mean, his theme song doesn't put me to sleep, but he didn't wear a shirt either for that match, I'm pretty sure. So that's when you knew he was. I mean, I don't want to spoil, but he hits some pretty cool moves that he doesn't always hit. I thought that was probably one of his best. I loved Okada Naito from the Wrestle Kingdom, like last year or whatever that one was, because I was at the one. Yeah, I was at the one where they main evented, and I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't hit as well as that other one. And I really enjoyed this one as well. I am a huge Okada fan, so I just cherry pick New Japan. Okada's having a title match. Sure. All right. I'll put it on. No problem. But hey, maybe this whole Forbidden Door two-way thing is just a real early setup for Danielson in the G1. He's not going to be in the New Japan Cup, but he literally did an interview this week and he came out of his mouth. He said, yeah, I'm going to be in the G1. Like I don't do bucket list, but being in the G1 would be cool. So
Danielson.
I think that we will eventually see that. Maybe not specifically this year, but
certainly starting to open up as well. So hopefully by have they confirmed when they're doing it this year? Is it going to be back to the summer or is it going to be kind of September time like they've done?
I'd assume it's pushed back just a little bit. I think it works better.
I do prefer it later in the year, to be honest. I don't really like staying inside trying to catch up on hours of wrestling in August. Look, patio season doesn't last too long in Toronto, so and I do enjoy watching the G1. But yeah, when it's a little cooler, it's definitely a better time to watch. But just breaking news from Post Wrestling, Mr. Andrew Thompson. During an interview at one of his concerts, Jeff Hardy confirmed that he will be joining All Elite Wrestling.
Whoa.
So at what point is Isaiah Cassidy getting injured in the next 2 weeks ahead of the 6-man tag against Sting, Darby, and Sammy at Revolution?
I mean, it's like we knew that was probably the direction it was going to go. I'm just upset I didn't get to see. Yeah, the Twitch chat's going off about Pyrox Wygen. You're telling me Pyrox Wygen was back together and I didn't go see them? That's unfortunate. Yeah. No, I'm excited just to see something that they can do. You know what? They've been pretty good with bringing in older guys to help with the younger talent. I don't necessarily see how Matt Hardy. I cannot stand Matt Hardy for the last while, so I don't know where maybe that kind of fits in and stuff. But I don't think the pay-per-view's in the cards.
No, it's March 9th. His non-compete's up, so he could show up on that Wednesday, March 9th, on Dynamite, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, or he's he'll be on the following pay-per-view, which did they announce? Was that the first time because that's the first time I heard about it.
May 25th, I believe, in Las Vegas again for Double or Nothing.
Oh, I thought it was May 29th. Because I think they're doing the whole week there, right?
They're doing Rampage, Dynamite, and is it May 29th? I wrote down May 25th, but okay.
Yeah, May 25th is probably the Wednesday, and then
it's the Dynamite, right? That makes sense.
Yeah. So there you go. They're going back to Vegas for Double or Nothing, end of May, and I'm like stroking my beard because my brother is going to be there that week for EDC 2022. So I'm like, hey, he was trying to convince me to buy a ticket for that, and now I'm like, if it's the same week, that would be pretty crazy. So maybe, but maybe not. Double or Nothing, right? But that's pretty cool. A week in Vegas, but I guess we're still just sour that they're not coming to I don't know, other places. But they don't usually, like, they've done that other Double or Nothing, but they don't like go to Vegas quite often, it seems. So
that it's their place for Double or Nothing, but it's kind of the only time they head out like more to the West Coast
that way.
It? So like obviously Vegas is a lot easier if you're kind of in the California area. It's I mean, not close, but it's a lot easier to get to than going to like Chicago or Florida or that kind of thing. So it'll be, I kind of do want them to switch up the places they go. I hope it's not just Chicago all the time for All Out and Vegas all the time for Double or Nothing, because when you've only got 4 pay-per-views, I do like spread the wealth a little bit, you know, but I guess with the pandemic, Double or Nothing hasn't been there for a couple of years, so it definitely makes sense to go back.
Yeah, and I mean, I can still think of that first show when they announced it. Actually, Tony Schiavone is like, "Oh man, like, don't you remember like how that felt that first time?" And it's like, yeah, they made it look like a pretty good show that first time. That was a definitely good like because that was their first pay-per-view, not All In technically, right? So
yeah,
it did feel like something pretty special. Well, I mean, let's get into tonight's Dynamite, which is a great lead-in for their Revolution pay-per-view in a few weeks. We have one more Dynamite before Revolution, but we go to Dynamite from Wednesday, February 23, 2022, and we're in WWE country.
yeah.
We're in Connecticut. Damn, New
Bridgeport.
Bridgeport?
The home of Takeover. Was it? Which one was it? 25? When they just refused. It was the first one that they were like, nah, we're not going to call it by the town. We're not going to call it Takeover Bridgeport. We'll call it Takeover 25, I believe.
Everyone in Bridgeport was so mad.
Yeah.
God, wanted the shirt that said Bridgeport on it.
Yeah.
So they're in WWE country here, but it's AEW. We start off with a tag team battle royal. We heard that there would be a tag team three-way match, Jungle Boy's favorite, at the pay-per-view, and there's going to be some battle royals that kind of figure out the two teams that will be facing Jurassic Express, and this one is one of these matches. So it's got a bunch of tag teams in the ring, and the rules here is if one partner is eliminated, the other can still fight for their team to win the match. That's how they do things here in AEW. So we got all sorts of tag teams here. We got the Gun Club, the Ass Boys. We got Proud and Powerful, the Young Bucks, FTR. We got the Best Friends. We have Private Party, but kind of Private Party. It's Private Party, and was it both of them, or was it the Butcher?
Oh, no. Butcher was in there with the Blade.
Okay,
Blade was
yeah.
Because I noticed his tan. Private
Nice.
Party were there.
Okay, because they say he was injured, and I was like, man, was he even in this? Oh yeah, he was in this match.
He was in the match, yeah,
he was in the match. My mistake. Well, there's all sorts of eliminations early on, like Austin Gunn getting tossed out. The Best Friends hit their soul food half and half. There's Ortiz, who's just on fire here. He's eliminating people. I forgot to mention 2.0 were also in the match, but they're both thrown out by Ortiz. Then the Young Bucks are super kicking Ortiz. There's super kicks to Santana. There's then John Silver. Oh, I didn't even mention that. See, there's too many teams in this match. Silver and Reynolds are in the match, and there's the shitter machine on Johnny Hungy, which looked great. There's then the FTR Young Bucks kind of stare down, kind of reminiscing on their match, and we definitely need to run that match back eventually. But they go to throw Trent like out of the ring, but he lands on Orange Cassidy's shoulders. So he stands there. This is pretty much like the Kofi spot, and Orange puts on his sunglasses while Trent's on top of him to help him get back into the commercial. Get it back in the ring as we go to commercial. During picture in picture, I honestly couldn't tell if people were being eliminated. I know Chucky T was gone, and I was like, okay, you blink and you miss it in these kinds of matches. But Trent and Santana are in there, and they were going at it, which was a pretty good pairing, I thought. I know obviously both guys are great, but pretty much when we came back from the break, this match was just on fire.
It was kind of the first half of this was just a load of bodies and getting kind of the lesser teams or the less interesting partners out of the ring. And then when we came back, it was all your kind of mainstay teams. You had like Bucks, Best Friends, John Silver without Alex Reynolds, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, like all the kind of big teams were left in there, Santana and Ortiz, FTR. But what I found quite interesting was the crowd really reacted to Santana and Trent facing off here. And it was, Santana and, Trent. And it was kind of because of the callback to their feud and the parking lot brawl and that sort of thing. And I was quite surprised actually to see the crowd pick up on this, because this was like the hottest they were at this point in this match was for these two. Definitely I was surprised to see the crowd kind of remembering the history here.
Yeah, lots of like callbacks to different things. We have Johnny Hungy chance as he's super over here. He comes in, he's firing up on all sorts of people. We have, I think it's Matt is it Nick? Oh man, there's so many things in this match, but there's a spot where it's Kyle O'Reilly and one of the Bucks on the outside, and I think it's Fish who helps eliminate Dax from FTR. So it's like he is helping the Young Bucks
Yeah,
here,
and
Bobby Fish.
Nick saved Kyle as well from an elimination at one point as well.
So like they are like on each other's side considering this friendship thing with Adam Cole. We get Silver, who's now being beat up by Matt and Kyle. Now I think it's come down to the final 3 here in this crazy battle royal, but Matt, Kyle, and Silver, and they go to double team Silver, but he starts like beating them both up, double suplex and attacking them when they finally numbers game beat him down, and then they hit the, as I think Shivani or one of them called it, which was a great call, the super kick party chasing the dragon. So it's like the super kick chasing the dragon double team as they go to throw Silver out. Kyle throws Matt out as well, and Kyle O'Reilly picks up the win here for his team. Red Dragon is going to Revolution as one of the teams to go in the tag title match. But yeah, the Bucks are pissed after the fact.
Yeah, I definitely, after the commercial, this match really picked up, and I quite enjoyed the end of this. I think AEW tend to do a pretty good job at battle royals. They do manage to get like a bunch of different stuff going on in the matches, and I liked that Kyle O'Reilly got the win here because he's one of those shiny toys. Kind of debuted and then obviously went away and had a kid, so kind of came off TV a little bit. So kind of I felt he just felt like another guy for a bit, so I was happy that they gave him the win here for the team. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I wouldn't say it's the hot openers that we like used to get in AEW. I feel like we haven't had one of those really banging openers for quite a while in AEW now. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely when it came back from break, when it kind of was more structured. The past stories were kind of playing into each other here. I got super into it, and I was super stoked to see Kyle win the match because that means Red Dragon's going to be on a pay-per-view. So it is cool to see. After this, the Bucks are in the ring with Red Dragon, and they're kind of like, yo, what the hell? You just eliminated us. That's not cool. When Hangman Adam Page, his music hits, he beelines it to the ring and starts clobbering Red Dragon here. He's beating them up, and the Bucks are just putting their hands up like, we don't want anything to do with this. As he's beating them up, Adam Cole runs down there. He looks to try to get the upper hand on Page, but Page scouts it and tries to hit him with the buckshot, but Cole gets out of the way. And, well, Silver, who's still there, he's still pissed about what happened. So he throws Kyle back into the ring, which allows Hangman to hit the buckshot on Kyle. And I mean, we know Kyle O'Reilly knows how to take a pretty big clothesline spot because he just turns inside out, which looked great. And I was just fired up. I was hype. I was like, man, Hangman needed to do this. Like,
this is what I've been waiting for since he's been champion, to be honest. This was like the opening segment, him coming out looking like a badass babyface, taking out everyone, and then killed it with the promo after. They needed to do this because the matches have been great in his title run. I'm not taking anything away from his wrestling ability, and I'm not taking anything away from his acting and promo. I think this guy's such a great all-rounder, but he hasn't been booked like the champion since they put the belt on him, and this finally felt like we were getting that. Yeah.
So he grabs the microphone as Red Dragon and everyone's just kind of watching here after he beat up Kyle, and Page has the mic and he says, "It's story time with Adam Page, baby." Clearly mocking Adam Cole's signature lines there. He says, in 2008, a prick named Adam Cole entered the world of wrestling, and, well, he became a champion everywhere he went. And then he kind of says that, well, he knew he wasn't going to go any further where he was, so he had to go back with his friends and try to come over here and schmooze. And, well, he's not close to getting the title here. He's just getting closer to 6 feet in the ground because I have a freshly cocked buckshot for you. And then gives him the middle finger and says, boom, and he'll see him at Revolution. And of course, in wrestling, when someone gives you the middle finger, you have to act like it's the most awful thing in the entire. Adam Cole is so good at the selling. It's no one's as good as when what Paul Heyman was like, "I got 4 words for you, Edge, Matt freaking Hardy," or whatever. And Edge like spits out the water like, but Adam Cole's like, he's so good at the death stare of like, what?
I think Bobby Fish made this as well. like when Cole was going like, you're going to be walking closer and closer to a 6-foot hole. He's going like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Like, no, don't say that. He's going to put you in the ground. No, he's not going in the ground. Not happening. Not happening. This feud needed this, I think. And as we said last week, I hope when we get like the road to, we really dive into kind of their like use stuff from BTE and
ROH
from ages ago. Well, yeah, if they can get any ROH footage, sure. But definitely dive into the history between these two.
I mean, hey, if we're talking about they're using more stuff from ROH or the tape library and stuff, this would be a perfect time to show when Adam Page was just Adam Page, who looked like Adam Cole, black trunks, long hair, like they looked very similar, right? So there's so much they could use with that. But yeah, this is exactly what the world champ needed to do. Like they heard the complaints clearly of not only us on the show being like, you should be more Hangman. When he was on the Chase, he was doing this kind of stuff, but finally he's like, no, I ain't sidestepping. And I do love the play on the stuff with the Bucks. They're kind of like, oh well, he did tell us if we get involved with him, he'll kill us.
Yeah,
and
the Bucks are still scared. Like as soon as Hangman came out, they were nope, not doing this.
And like part of me wanted them to back him up. Like if Cole came in and the Red Dragon started beating down on Hangman, which we might see next week, the Bucks are just going to stand there. No, they got to decide on what to do. And there's so much layers to these storylines in AEW, which I definitely like. But yeah, I love this opening, this whole kind of thing from the Battle Royal into this got me hyped for Adam versus Adam at Revolution. Next is Danielson backstage with Tony Schiavone, and he says he's got a match tonight in the main event against Daniel Garcia. And he says Garcia is a bit like me. He's vicious. I'm vicious. Except when I was coming up, I had William Regal who helped me and helped train me. But instead, Garcia hangs out with 2.0. Imagine if he trained with someone like me. And last week, Mox, you said that we need to bleed together before we can team together. Well, after my match tonight, maybe I'll give you an answer. So promoting his match, which when that match was advertised, like maybe, half an hour before Dynamite, an hour before Dynamite, I think a lot of us were like, that sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think this is kind of, I like how Danielson with his big kind of pay-per-view feuds does this run of matches to build up to it. We had the one against Hangman and it was going through every member of Dark Order, right? And then he did this promo about how he wants to train these guys and he's taking them on and beating them each week. We had the Moriarty last week, Garcia this week. Who was the other guy he mentioned? I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, but I can't remember who else.
Yeah, I've drawn a blank. Hopefully the Twitch room can help, but I'm sure that will be the match next week as well. And then obviously final boss will be Mox at the pay-per-view.
It was the guy from Best Friends, Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, okay. Yes. Have we seen that match already? Was that on a Rampage or something?
I've seen Mox kill that guy.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, but maybe that could be something we get next week. But I like it. I like Danielson kind of just setting up matches to build up to his big main events.
And we don't know if he's still this weird tweener character. Like, I know they added the lyrics back to his theme song, so it tells us that he's a babyface, but is he? We don't really know yet. He's not necessarily a heel, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a tweener leaning more heel, and Mox is a pure babyface, but still he does heelish things, right? So I think it's quite a good, I think it's like quite a nice combo, the two of them, and I do hope after the match at Revolution we see them have a bit of a run together. I like how they're building this feud. It's a bit different, and I appreciate that.
It's so different and very interesting as well as this next segment, because out comes MJF. He's looking a bit different, though. He's looking a bit more somber, and he says, cut the music. He's got a microphone. There's a sea of boos here in Connecticut, but he starts off by saying, I used to like CM Punk, and he used to be my hero. Last week, he showed a photo me meeting him, and he said it was just another Friday. Well, MJF says, I know a lot of people think that I may have grown up with a silver spoon, but I love pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is what saved me, and I love AEW. He mentions growing up, he had ADD, and it caused him to have some struggles. And then he also grew up with being Jewish. And then he says, do we got any Jews in the house? And then he's like, all right. I laughed, really laughed.
And when does, apart from Long Island, when does MJF ever try to get people in the crowd? With him?
Yeah, it was
like, shout
so
out all my Jews, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like,
Jews in the house.
Is kind of different.
Jews in the house. He says he tried out for some football, and then he didn't quite make it, and his colleagues used rolls of quarters and beat him up, and they wanted him to pick them up, Jew boy is what they said. And then I knew that Friday it was okay because I got to meet Punk, but that day meant everything to me, and it meant nothing to him. So I made a promise that I was going to be like my hero, CM Punk. And then you left me, CM Punk. You left us all. You left us. You abandoned us. And I thought, if you left us, then if you can't do it, then how could I? So I quit my dreams. And, well, I went to college. And then he tells the story of how he saw a photo with Punk and Danielson. And he said, I'll make a promise that one day I would become the best in the world out of spite, because I will never quit. And this is when CM Punk comes out in a Save Ferris shirt. I actually almost bought this shirt from, I think, Rucking Fountain is the website. And Punk doesn't have his music. He beelines it to him, and he's like, is this true? Hey, is this true? Is this true? And MJF is like, again, very different, crying here, tears in his eyes, leaves the ring and walks off, leaving Punk just like, what the fuck is going on? He mouthed,
it's true as well.
It's true.
On the way out.
It's true.
Yeah, I absolutely loved this. This might be my favorite thing on the show. You're waiting the whole time because it's MJF. You're waiting for, Wardlow to attack from behind, or Sean Spears, or him to say it's true, and Punk goes for a hug and he knees him in the balls, or something like this. And the fact it doesn't happen is so much smarter, I think, because now it's just positioned Punk to look like a bit of a dick. And this could be MJF. This could be right from the heart. I mean, MJF's got like a tear rolling down his cheek and everything. Or this could be pure mind games. But when you look back right to the beginning of this feud, Punk came out and MJ offered his hand to him. He was like, wow, it's CM Punk. And it's the first time you really saw MJF like that, and Punk laughed at him and walked away and disrespected MJF. And then the whole time with MJF not wanting to fight Punk, you could see it as the chicken shit heel thing. But with this kind of element of his story, it could now be he looked up to him so much that he doesn't want to touch him, and he felt let down by this guy. And he kind of he still feels disrespected. I think it adds so many more layers to this story. And then you had last week Punk going, I want to chain you by the neck to me and have the most brutal match and make you bleed. Your mat's going to be stained with your blood. And MJF's here being like, hey, you let me down, dude. I looked up to you and you let me down. I think it's fascinating. And I think I was so glad they didn't do the swerve at the end where the swerve itself was not doing the swerve, if you know what I mean, because we're used to pro wrestling angles. I loved this. And
yeah, you figured he was gonna kick him in the dick or something and be like, psych, but you thought what? No, he didn't do that.
If you know it, this felt like a Cody promo, but actually made sense. It actually had direction, but it had the same passion and delivery as a Cody promo, but I completely understood the whole thing. This was really top stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is the ultimate mega heel, just the biggest dirtbag in wrestling lately, and then he got the win over Punk, and then Punk is like finally fighting through hoops to get the rematch, gets the rematch, and the stip makes it sound like it's going to be so violent, where now MJF is using this next level of evil, manipulating mind games and all sorts to really mess with Punk, where I do think next week you could have him maybe take Punk out at the very end and be like, yeah, like I think Sunday or whatever, I will finally, take out my hero. I don't have a hero because I'm my own hero or whatever. But
I'd be interested.
I loved it. I loved it.
If the quit element comes into it, because he says you can chain me, you can whip me with it, you can choke me with it, but I'm not gonna quit like you did. So it will be interesting. Yeah, I think if you were doing the match this Sunday, if the pay-per-view was this Sunday, I think you could have a very split crowd for this match after this promo. But we're still waiting for the shoe to drop, and I wonder if they do. I expect them to do that next week. But yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I could see, because we didn't get any Wardlow in this, but like you could see Wardlow somehow getting involved. There is obviously the MJF Wardlow feud and the turn there and stuff. Like I don't see Wardlow costing MJF a match or anything like that. But I am super excited for the match. But yeah, MJF just killing it on the promo, on the stick, as always, is the guy, because here he completely turned it around on you, whether you watch this all the time or whether you're just a casual fan. If you're a casual, you're kind of like, yo, this guy's like the good guy here. He's the hero. I don't know what he's talking about. Punk's an asshole. So it is weird. He's got us, definitely.
Punk played it great as well, because he did come to the ring looking, remorseful as
concerned,
well.
Like just like, oh
being like,
man,
this is kind of like, is this true? Like, please, are you fucking with me or is this true? Because you could see he felt like guilt and all of that. Such a good segment.
Yeah, I mean, this is again, like we've just been like assigned this wrestling for years of just the basic cookie cutter thing where a guy goes, oh, actually, I want to be your friend. And then, no, actually, I don't. Kicking the balls, whatever. But this is like taking it to like a whole like other thing that we haven't seen. And AEW definitely does that a lot with, again, just not going to the basic shit that we've always seen. It's like something else that we've never seen before. Because now it leaves all of us being like, man, what is he going to do next week? What is he going to do at the show? This is crazy. Is this guy a good guy now? And of course he's not. He's MJF. So yeah, great segment. There's no one on the mic that can touch MJF. We get Garcia backstage with 2.0, and they're hyped up, all hyped up on Mountain Dews or something. And they say they're upset at Danielson for those comments. They say that we walked into AEW together, and that's why we're a team, we're a family. And today we're going to give you a taste. Danielson, I always get their names confused. Matt Lee.
Matt Lee, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Lee. You want to taste? You want to taste? Yeah. So they say Garcia is going to show Danielson a thing or two tonight.
Yeah, even these guys. I mean, these guys lose to everyone. I can't think of a match they've won in the company. But even them, cut great promos. It's just there seems to be this energy, and you see this a lot of weeks when it's a promo heavy week where almost MJF's promo probably fires up these guys, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna kill it on the mic now. And this was just to hype up this main event for their boy Daniel Garcia. But the talent in this company on the mic is pretty phenomenal.
We go to our next match, which is the Knights of the Round Table. the Knights who say knee.
Black Kings of the Old Republic. I don't know.
The Knights of the Old Republic.
They need to pick a name.
The Knights who say knee.
Yeah.
The black. No, fuck, not the Black Thought. The Black.
Brody King and Malakai Black.
That's right.
Kings of the Black Throne.
Knights of the Black Throne.
Kings of the Black Throne.
Oh,
the other week they confused us because they said one thing and wrote another thing on the graphic, but the song says Kings of the Black Throne, and so does the graphic this week.
Then why did I write down Knights of the? It's too confusing. Just call yourself the House of Black. I don't understand. All right, so the House of Black, Brody King and Malakai Black are going up against Daredevil, Pac, and Penta. But we knew that the new Penta, ever since being spit in the eyes from Malakai, the Mist, he's turned evil, and well, we get to see the new Penta here tonight. And I mean, I don't know what the deal was with the Penta Says guy, Alex, but he made some weird cryptic tweets, and then it all led to this.
Yeah, I thought like it sounded like someone had upset him backstage,
Yeah.
and he was leaving, and he was gonna do more QVC or whatever. But no, he's turned into Igor from Frankenstein.
So yeah, describe this entrance here, because it's like all spooky music. There's fog machines, and there's Alex in a like Grim Reaper robe,
like the higher power from the Ministry of Darkness, but like
the thing that killed me.
Robe.
He's got like Halloween makeup on,
white makeup, and he's got his dark hair, so he looks kind of like Dracula as well, like cheap
Igor.
Halloween costume / Igor / Riff Raff.
Igor. It's pronounced Igor.
Igor.
Yeah, that's him.
But also they changed the music. They did this darker music, but it's still at the beginning. It's Alex going, Penta says, but in spooky voice. Oh
yeah,
boy.
It's so cheesy, but I did love it, because then the shot is him like, ooh, look who I have here, and on the stage, on the entrance ramp, is this like this gravestone, and it says Penta Oscuro, which is like what? Penta dark, Penta black, Penta from hell is what he says. From hell, Penta. And Penta like creeps out from behind the tombstone here, and he's more evil Penta, all black, not the Joker Penta that we all know and love so much, but the evil Penta is ready to team with Pac to take on the other evil guys. There's a lot of spookiness just going on here, really. Early, Pac and Penta beat up Brody and Malakai and send them to the outside, and there's a huge crossbody from Penta to the outside. Pac rolls Malakai in and hits a 450 for a near fall. Brody takes control and just starts throwing these guys around. He's using one guy as a weapon onto the other guy, which was pretty cool. Sends them both to the outside. And then Brody King, who is a big tattooed man, does a running tope suicida through the ropes onto both of them, which definitely shocked me and definitely shocked JR. He was like, oh, okay, all right. That was a big tope. Like, damn, okay. Didn't expect that big boy to do that. There's a series of super kicks back in the ring. When Malakai's in, he goes to do the mist on Penta, but Penta, clearly already getting the mist, could scout it and blocks Malakai's mouth from doing the spit. And please, nobody quote this, but he forces him to swallow. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then starts beating him up here and gets a roll up. And Malakai is pinned by Penta here. But after the match, the House of Black are pissed. So they beat up on Penta. They beat up on Pac. They go over to his spooky Halloween Vampiro Sting graveyard set thing. They grab, which I can only call Cody's shovel, just been dusted up a bit. And they're about to just stab Penta in like the face with it when the lights go out. And when they turn back on, Buddy Matthews, is standing in the ring, just staring at Malakai Black. Black drops. He's terrified. He's like, whoa, I had no idea you were going to be here, even though you were in my video thing last week. Wow, I'm shocked. But Matthews attacks Pac and attacks Penta, revealing he's on the same side as Brody and Black, as he beats them up and does like the stomp thing to Penta onto the chair as the House of Black then stand tall. The lights go out and they disappear.
I thought this whole segment was awful, to be honest. The match was fucking dull. The crowd, which were really hot. Think how hot they were for just Santana and Trent Beretta standing off in the opening. They were on their hands for this. There was a cool bit. I liked Brody kind of putting, what was it? He put like Pac on top of Penta and then chopped him, which forced him into a Poison Rana. I thought that was pretty cool. But you had Penta in this whole new character, and it's meant to be an evil Penta. I didn't see anything different about his wrestling at all. It wasn't like he barely worked the match. He won by a fucking roll-up. You know? Like, there was nothing kind of evil or spooky about his...
It was a spooky roll-up, a spooky O'Connor roll.
There was nothing about that in the wrestling at all. And then, like, JR was terrible in this. The lights go off. The lights go off to come back on with Buddy Matthews, and it's going lights off, lights on, wax off. Brr. They come on. You're debuting a new person, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Buddy Matthews. Yeah, he's a real good talent. This one." It's like your job is to sell it to me, and like if you're not going to do that, let Excalibur do it. Sit out. But he didn't do anything to make this guy feel like a big deal. I like Buddy Matthews. I think he's a great wrestler. But again, it's just so many debuts week after week. And I thought this was all pretty terrible. As you said, like we saw him pretty much in the background last week. So it was no surprise. I think you could have had maybe Penta win and try and get some own back and go for the arm snap instead. And you debut Matthews that way to do the same.
Exactly.
Make Penta look evil because you're trying to do a lot here, and I don't think they really achieved any of it, to be honest.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack because it's like Black and Brody are awesome, Pac and Penta are awesome. This match had some cool stuff in it for what it was, but it was gimmicky and stuff to begin with, and then the lights on, lights off stuff does get annoying because they do it far too many times now here. I just don't understand how this guy's supposed to be in this evil, gothy, heavy black metal group of, I don't know, sinners or whatever this anti-church thing is with the House of Black. And his name is Buddy.
Yeah.
I'm not your guy, pal. I'm not your buddy guy, whatever. I love him. I think he's awesome. And I am stoked to see these three as the unit, as we all kind of were imagining way back when Malakai came in here, and now we're kind of seeing it. And this isn't really the way to do it. They will save this. They will turn this completely around. I have complete faith. But yeah, this was really strange. I think one of the weirdest debuts for AEW here, because all the cool wrestling fans that are here, they cheered for Buddy, but then they also were like, okay, but what is this segment? What is this like really? But I don't like the name Buddy Matthews to be in this super gothy thing when you got like these cool names and then Buddy, but that's just wrestling names, I guess. But
I mean, you could have maybe like, I don't see him being in this group in this gear either. They deliberately debuted him kind of looking like WWE Buddy Murphy.
His gear has always been like his gear looks fine. It's black. So
it looks too, I don't know. It looks too, I can see them sort of, baptizing this guy and giving him a new name and giving him a new name. Look. I could see that happening because I think they deliberately wanted him to do the kind of swerve, him look like, just Buddy Murphy, how we know him. But yeah, this feels like they're kind of hot and cold with this whole feud. I felt this kind of with Malakai Black since being there. He came in and it felt like he was going to be such a big deal here. And I feel it's a bit messy with his whole direction. I'm not really into any of this, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, how can Buddy Matthews be in the spooky tattoo men when he doesn't have enough tattoos? So
I know, that's what we're going to get. We're going to be like, you're no longer Buddy Matthews, you're fucking Lucifer, and we're gonna give you a little arm.
Dude, that
tat.
sounds sick. Like, look, I love my spooky shit. I love my scary stuff. And I was like glued to the TV when Penta was in a graveyard for 3 seconds. But then I was like, all right, I'm checking my reality at the door here. But I do think they can turn it around, but I did not really like this.
Why should I
just can't get Alex. Yeah, Alex being goofy in the Halloween getup is like,
And I just don't know why I should care when the lead commentator just really clearly hates it. Like, I'm like, well, why should I bother? Like, the commentators there should be kind of informing you and helping you feel what you should be feeling. And like, think when you've had people debut, like, who really people didn't know anything about, like the Dark Order or whatever, you'd have like Excalibur would be like, oh my god, that's such and such from this place, and JR's just like, oh yeah, he played football in Australia, it was great. Like, yeah.
You mean rugby? Aussie rules?
Yeah, there's Aussie football. Yeah.
Just never forget that. Remember when WWE went to Melbourne in that huge arena,
the cricket stadium?
Buddy stole the show, gave Australia this huge moment, and they still managed to fumble that guy. But if you want to hear us talk more about Buddy Matthews, next month on our Patreon, we're calling it Best March Ever, where we do shows called Best Match Ever. We promised we would do the Shane that didn't get signed to AEW, sadly, Davie. Best Match Ever, Shane O'Mac is happening. But
I mean, you say that, but we could have the name on the contract does say Shane.
Shane,
there's still
Connecticut.
Hope. There's still hope. Exactly.
They could have done
it. Could be on Rampage. Could have happened right now on Rampage.
It could be happening. So we're also doing Best Match Ever Steiner Brothers, because we don't know too much about them and we want to dive into that. But we're also going to be joined by John Cena from Shot in the Dark, which is free on this feed. But we're going to be doing Best Match Ever 205 live. And let me tell you, we've asked Cena to make us a list. And, well, it's pretty much just Buddy Matthews.
The Buddy Show.
Yeah, so it's going to be the Buddy Love Show coming soon. So, yeah, I am excited to see him here, but so far, do we get them at the pay-per-view? Like, is Ray Phoenix going to come back? Is it going to be Death Triangle versus the Black Death Gang or Gang Black? What are they? Yeah. Too many names.
Yeah.
Also, Dickie in the Twitch chat says Aussie rules is football. Yeah, that's how much I know about. Is that cricket? Is that what they do there? Yeah. Eddie Kingston comes out and he's wearing a Public Enemy shirt.
They confirmed Thunder Rosa Britt Baker's happening at the pay-per-view, and we had a little video for that.
Which we know. Like we knew, yeah. We've been new. We get Eddie Kingston in a Public Enemy t-shirt, who's going to be here for his face-to-face with Chris Jericho, but there's security in the ring. Jericho comes out. People are singing Judas here in Connecticut. He's got some purple shoes on, and they go face-to-face, and Jericho calls Eddie Kingston a common street thug. Eddie Kingston laughs and says, "You don't even know what that means. You're just a sports entertainer, and I'm a fighter. This is wrestling. Come on." And he says, I don't want to deal with you, Jericho. I want to see more wrestling. Like, stop this bullshit, and let's get a match going. Go get Willow Nightingale down here, which is like she's appeared on Dark and stuff as well, which I think she does have a bright future in AEW. So he's like, I don't even want to do this with you. You're wasting my time. Like, just get wrestling on instead. Jericho says, well, sports entertaining is something I do, but I got a story for you. The first time I heard about Eddie Kingston coming to AEW, we were all excited. Everyone was excited. Eddie Kingston coming to AEW? When I was just thinking to myself, who the hell is Eddie Kingston? I've never even heard of you. And I brush up on things. I keep up with indie things. I thought you were Eddie Edwards. And then I saw you and realized, that's why I never heard of you, because you look like a jobber, says Jericho. And the crowd here were pretty evenly like they were cheering, they were singing Judas, they were on Eddie's side. But as soon as he said that, they were kind of like, oh, you're making fun of our boy here. He says, I saw your match with what's his face, referring to Cody Rhodes. He says, I heard your promo and I thought this guy is good. And I was wondering, why didn't you make it to the big time? You're 38 before you even got here. Well, 38, I was main eventing everything. I started when I was 22. You started when you were 38. I've toured the world in arenas. I'm in my band. I sing. I'm a multiple-time world champion, and I've made millions of dollars. You're just jealous of me, Edward. So Eddie continues to laugh again and says, you did that. You did all that because I wasn't there to stop you. And you're just a leech, Jericho. Well, you can't suck my blood It's just too tough. You want to team up with all these youngsters? Pff, please. You just take from them and use them. And Jericho says, like, yeah, well, you have achievophobia. And you don't even know what that means. And Kingston says, yeah, I don't know what that means. I only have a GED. What does that mean? He says, you're just scared of being a failure. And then Jericho brings up his Eddie Kingston's uncle and his family and stuff like on that. I think it was that article posted online a while back about Eddie's kind of history and stuff. And he says, you're afraid because you know you can't win the big one.
Yeah,
and
he said
Eddie,
both his uncle and his father were failures, and he looked up to them.
Yeah, and Eddie gets mad and like drops the mic, like almost like he's gonna fight him. He says, Eddie, you can't win the big one. And when it comes to AEW, I am the big one. I'm bigger than AEW champion Hangman Page. I'm bigger than Moxley. I'm bigger than Danielson. I'm the influencer, the demo god. So if you beat me, then I will tell you straight to your face that you have my respect and I'll have helped you. And this pisses off Kingston, who says, well, I want a match with you at Revolution, but I don't want the mimosa match. I don't want Jericho getting pushed off that thing by MJF. I want the Jericho from WCW. And who did he mention? Tenryu? He's like, I look up to Tenryu, and I know you and Tenryu and war and wrestled in Japan.
Yeah, he was like, I want the first champion here. I want the guy that your friend Levesque hated back in the day. Like,
yeah,
I want the old Jericho.
Because he's like, yo, we're in Connecticut. Like, you're down the corner. Go back to those guys. Jericho says, Eddie Kingston, I will face you at Revolution, but I will beat you because you are a loser. Hit my music. Jericho walks off. And Eddie Kingston just laughing and then eventually walks off too. But great promo battle from the both of them. I know Jericho gets a lot of flack, and people were kind of like, oh, another Jericho feud with someone else that we would rather see someone else feud with, but no, man, I actually really enjoyed this promo battle as I thought I would. I didn't think these guys would let me down, and Eddie, of course, always good, but Jericho not only like in phenomenal shape yet again, but
he looks better, doesn't he? He's definitely
does he ever
trimmed up. No, he looks.
But I
good.
love this. Yeah,
this was excellent. I loved all the digs at sports entertainment. Jericho saying, I'll give you some sports entertainment that will actually be entertaining. The little dig at Cody as well, calling him what's his name. But what I loved, there was a lot of truth in this. I think, like reading those articles about Eddie Kingston, I think it's true. I think he is someone who kind of gets in the way of himself and is afraid of achieving in a way. And I remember listening to Jericho on his podcast when Eddie Kingston first signed, and he like admitted on there, like, oh, I don't know who this guy is, but he's pretty cool. Like, there was a lot of truth in it. The only thing that just like irritated me a little bit is I hate when they're blurring the lines between reality and like kayfabe, but when they use words like babyface and heel, because it doesn't really make sense. If they're trying to sell that this is a real argument, like, you wouldn't go, you'd be a really good guy in this business. You'd be a great bad guy. Like, that kind of stuff. But I did like Eddie's retort, which is like, what's a babyface? Because to him, this is real, you know? I hated it whenever Cody would say, I'm not going to turn a heel, because it's like, who says that? A heel shouldn't know they're a heel. You know, that's where MJF was so good, because he feels justified whenever he's being a dick. No, he's doing it for the right reasons, you know? That was my only gripe, but other than that, these two are great on the mic. I thought Jericho was back on form. Eddie really like brought it as well. I'm kind of, they've sold me. They've sold me on the match, you know?
As Eddie always does, right? Like, definitely. But same with Jericho. Same, like, I know Jericho lately, people give him flack, like, go away, Jericho. Honestly, like, if he's doing stuff like this, then yeah. There was a report, I don't know if it was Observer, who said, like, hey, like, the big money contracts in AEW, the two top paid people, apparently, and don't quote me on this, but I do remember seeing that it was Punk, and it was Jericho. So I think that was him saying that with like, I'm bigger than these other guys. I'm bigger than your champion. I'm bigger than, because that did come out recently. So maybe that's why he mentioned that. But I do love me some Jericho. And I thought, like you said, I thought he did step up in this form tonight. He was back the way he kind of used to be. So, and he looks good. He looks the part. He's in that pay-per-view body zone, I guess.
And I think this is going to be him doing the business for Eddie. I think this is going to be
100%.
Eddie's big win, which is fantastic. And
for sure.
And I think kind of talking, they even address the criticisms with Eddie saying, look, I want the old Jericho. I don't want this mimosa Jericho. It's good because I'm going like, yeah, I want that too. I want to see the old Jericho too. So really, like any other night, I think this would be the segment of the night, but that MJF thing was so good. But really, really great promos on tonight's show, and really doing a great job building the pay-per-view. Definitely all the feuds for the pay-per-view I'm more interested in after this show.
Yeah, hats off to these two guys killing this. We get our next segment back, and we go from that to just my favorite. The AHFO, that's right, they're still together. The Andrade Hardy family office. They're in the stairwell again. They just always know where to find the good stairwells to cut their promos. And Andrade, they just throw here that Andrade is going to be getting a TNT title opportunity this Friday on Rampage against Sammy Guevara. And I thought I had something in my ears here or couldn't understand what they were saying. They mentioned that they have a match at the pay-per-view, and it's a 6-man tag Tornado Trios match.
Yeah, it'll be Andrade, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy versus Sting, Sammy, and Darby.
What? But the TNT title match is not on the pay-per-view.
No, the TNT title match is on Friday.
Which is probably just finished, wrapped up like right now. So like, what? How backwards is that?
I do want to like that. That will be something that makes me want to check out Rampage. I would like to see Andrade and Sammy, but yeah, this feels very backwards. Like again, why? Like I'm not the biggest Private Party fan, but this should be, if you're doing the 6-man, this should be Private Party and Andrade versus Sting, Sammy, and Darby. Like Matt Hardy can be at ringside or whatever. Like this, this is a really weird match. These guys seem a little directionless at the moment, which is such a shame. And yeah, it's just, again, you're signing all these people, and we're giving Matt Hardy shine. Do you remember Tony Khan signed Christian because Christian Cage is his favorite wrestler in all the world. And Christian Cage his duty is wearing a leather jacket and supporting his kid and his pet dinosaur every week. Like that's all Christian's doing. And like Matt Hardy should be in that role more so than Christian is, I think. But then you've got Keith Lee, who was this huge, big signing 2 weeks ago and was reduced to a video package last week and then getting owned by Ricky Starks this week. And like saying 5 words, like it's, I don't get the Matt Hardy thing, and this match just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. Why isn't it Private Party and Andrade versus Sting, Sammy, and Darby? I mean, why is this even fucking happening? It should be Andrade, Sammy at the pay-per-view. Maybe they want to get Sting and Darby on there as well, but I mean, it's definitely not.
The triple threat: Andrade, Darby, and Sammy.
Yeah,
they all want the TNT title. Do that. You can still have Matt Hardy out there and Sting on the outside, so they can do a bit of like shenanigans on the outside to get them on the pay-per-view and get that Sting pop. But Andrade's one of these shiny toys who's just been reduced to wearing a suit and chatting with Matt Hardy and occasionally wrestles. And he's someone I was really excited to see in this company, and I can't really say I've seen a great deal from him so far.
No, look, I bet the Sammy match will be good, but it's not going to get like time like a pay-per-view or the focus, whereas now all of a sudden my money I'm spending on a pay-per-view is still going to watch Matt Hardy. Dude, I don't even want to watch Matt Hardy in a match on Dynamite for free. And now I gotta watch to see him on the pay-per-view. It's like, fuck off. It's not the Hardy I want to see battle Sting. If we're seeing Sting fight a Hardy, I think we all know we need to get that rematch. Jeff and
I don't want
Sting.
to see any Hardy. I don't want to see any Hardy on TV anymore.
I just don't understand why Matt Hardy just keeps, and they're doing the whole thing where he's leaving through the crowd like Jeff, whatever. And I just don't understand. And it's like these guys are supposed to have money. They're the family office, but they don't even have a office. They're recording these in stairwells and it looks trash. Great. Just great. We go to Ricky Starks, who's going to go up against 10 from the Dark Order. And the winner of this is added to the Face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution. 10 is beating down on Starks early on here as they go to picture in picture. I think every single match started and went to picture in picture on tonight's show as well. When we come back, 10 fights back Starks, who was beating him down, hits a huge running shoulder tackle, kind of like the pounce here, and then goes for his full Nelson, which he's been winning some matches with. But Starks turns the mask like almost upside down or inside out here, which distracts 10. He can't see, and Starks spears him and gets the win. And yes, Ricky Starks is added to this ladder match, which should be noted also in the match is his buddy from Team Taz, Powerhouse Hobbs. So two members of Team Taz in this ladder match, but this didn't really do too much for me. And I think I'm totally cooled off on Ricky Starks.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the injury, to be fair, but we barely saw him wrestle for the longest time, and it really lost that momentum from him, I think. And yeah, this match, I've got like 0 notes on it.
Honestly,
barely anything happened.
I don't know.
I couldn't be less interested in Ricky Starks at the moment, which is a shame because I have seen something in this guy. Like I was really quite high on him when he first started, but yeah, he's massively cooled off, and this match didn't do anything.
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me, and I can't say I'm super excited to see him in this. Like the ladder match, we're just talking about why they just randomly made that 6-man tag. Like you could have put Andrade in that ladder match, Darby in that ladder match, but instead it's this way. It's just a little backwards for me. But yeah, Starks is added to this ladder match. We go backstage. Red Dragon
when was his last? I know he's been on Rampage sometimes, but when was his last Dynamite match even? Like this doesn't seem like a guy who's particularly focused on.
No, and I don't know if what the reason was, but the layout of this whole show clearly caught up to them because the main event felt super rushed. I know TBS, I guess they might have a little bit leeway with the overrun, but I know they didn't tonight, and it felt like they were completely rushing things because they just needed to have Starks versus 10 on this show. Red Dragons with Cole backstage, and we're getting the whole like Brandon's filming, but they're like, "Are you filming this?" And Red Dragon are hyped because they won their match tonight. When the Bucks come in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, cool, Fish and Kyle just double crossing us. Wow, great." And they say, you know what? Thanks for doing that, because now you've even motivated us even more. And we will be added to that match. And when we get to face you, we are going to kick your asses. And they're like, all right, cool. And Cole is like, for the love of God, can you shut up? We got bigger fish to fry. No pun intended. But we got bigger things to worry about. And meaning like his situation with Hangman Page. But more... friendly rivalries between these guys.
Yeah, I do like the dynamic because this made it very clear that the only reason Adam Cole really wants these guys to get along is so he can win the AEW title.
Yeah,
right? He has no interest in Red Dragon or the Bucks winning this tag team championship. He just wants to make sure all his boys are on the same team so they can help him win the title. So yeah, lot of layers to this story. I do think, I mean, it makes sense, Young Bucks to win this. I can't see the Young Bucks not being on the pay-per-view, and you've only got a week left. So I assume they're going to win this Battle Royal. So maybe we don't get the surprise Joker that I thought we might do. I just see the Bucks winning this next week.
Yeah, we've seen Bucks and Red Dragon way before, many times before AEW, and of course we want to see that here. But Jurassic Express in that mix with the three teams could be still just a crazy match, really. So if that's the match that we think we're gonna get, then hell yeah, I can't see the Bucks not being on pay-per-view, right?
Wow,
So,
that's
yeah.
Knocked Out Films in the Twitch chat has given quite a nice stat on Ricky Starks. Apart from the Diamond Ring Battle Royal in December, Ricky's last Dynamite match was in July against Brian Cage. So
Who?
I know he has been on Rampage, but really on the A show, like why is this guy on the pay-per-view all of a sudden? It's quite odd.
Yeah, strange. We go to the TBS championship match. Jade, the champion, is going up against the Bunny from the Hardy family office. Matt Hardy is ringside. Well, he's going to be. He's going to join during picture-in-picture because they go to picture-in-picture pretty much right away, as they always do. I like how Jade's got the green hair now. She's got the. Did you see her Joker out? Joker.
The Riddler.
Riddler outfit. Yeah. People were like, "Oh, you look like the Riddler," and she's like, "Yeah, it looks sick," and pretty much owned it.
She always looks awesome, I think.
Yeah. The Bunny gets some offense in early on here, and eventually gets Jade seated on the apron and does like this drop kick, sending her out, and then a sliding forearm, and then a sleeper hold. Picture in picture, Matt Hardy's just there with Matt Sterling. They're kind of arguing. He's doing the delete stuff. There's then, sorry, is it Matt who throws in brass knuckles to the Bunny? So Sterling throws in the title, and then it's basically a battle of who can get to the thing first. But when they both get to their feet, it's Jade who actually just hits a boot to the Bunny, eventually hits the Jaded, and gets the win.
Jade smacked the brass knucks out of her hand
away from her,
with the title. But yeah.
Yeah. So Jade retains and then says, "Who's next? Who's left?" Which obviously you get some Goldberg chants from that. And then out comes Taynara Conti. She comes out, and it's like she's cutting a promo, but then like stops and then goes into the ring and then like is face to face with Jade. And then it was almost like they were finishing each other's sentences. So I don't know if someone was like, "Hey, hurry up and rush this segment," but it felt a bit off. And I think what made it feel it was even weirder because when Tay's music hit and she started talking, it got so quiet. I don't know what was going on with Connecticut, but they just didn't know who she was or didn't care. It just so like the quietest it did the whole night, like pin drop quiet for Tay. Maybe they're a pro Pam audience in Connecticut, but just I was like, damn, okay, they really don't like Tay here. And then this is like
Ty,
weird.
come on, she's been Ty for a long time.
I keep saying
come
Ty,
on.
yeah. Ty Conti, yeah.
Yeah, no, this was all pretty bad. I thought the match wasn't good. I feel like a broken record, but I think Jade should just be doing the squashes, and she's not. She's going a bit too back and forth, and it's like the Bunny almost beat her a couple of times, and it doesn't make her look good. And sure, she's on this streak. She's 28-0, but the matches really haven't been there, and she doesn't look as dominating as. I mean, look at her physique. She should just be doing big boot Jaded 1, 2, 3, and then try to do something a bit more substantial, maybe at the pay-per-view. But yeah, the crowd clearly don't buy Ty as a challenger here either. I think she came out maybe a bit too early, because I think Jade was going to say, "Who's going to face me at Revolution?" And Ty came out, and then Jade just goes, "Revolution!" And yeah, it was a mess. I didn't like this segment at all. And when this is the only women's segment on the show, like you've really, I know there's the history between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, but that seems kind of almost rushed in a way, where that story's been going on forever, but it almost seems rushed going to the pay-per-view. And I feel we should have maybe had a bigger Britt Baker segment as well today, when this is the only women's stuff on the show, really, and it's this week. It's not a good look, I don't think.
Yeah, and like, are they going to add Ty Jade at like the pay-per-view?
Yeah, that's what they said. They said Revolution. So
Yeah.
this doesn't feel like a hot match.
Yeah, still Jade looks the part of just this like superstar, but when it comes to her matches, I'm still just not necessarily sold. I think you're right. I think doing the squash, do more of what they did with Goldberg. Honestly, just do that. And
what would have been best? I think giving Serena Deeb this title and actually having good matches with it, and you could then just have Jade do this great run of just having her do the win every week, almost like. It's the other way around. Serena Deeb is doing these 5-minute challenges where it should be Jade who's just squashing women and racking up. And I love the whole thing, showing up the graphic of her streak. Do that every week. And then eventually when she's ready, she could probably have a pretty good match with Serena Deeb and take it off of her and be the champion. I feel their role should definitely be reversed. But
for sure,
I definitely see something in Jade. I think something she does look good. And she obviously looks like a star, and I think she sounds good on the mic, but she's not ready for these level of matches, and it does expose her a lot.
You're right, because Serena Deeb like can go those distance and can put on those crazy matches and like legitimize the title, and then have Jade be the one to, I don't know, take it from her, or the other way around. Like she could be a babyface at that stage, but yeah, it feels a little weird. I feel like definitely every time I watch Jade, I'm like, all right, it's literally the same formula, and it just doesn't move the needle for me. But I wanna get behind Jade. It just doesn't really work for me. We have a video for Keith Lee, who's backstage being interviewed. He's just hanging around for 2 weeks. He mentions his ladder match that he's going to be taking place in, and he's going to climb that ladder to success. When Ricky Starks comes in and says, "Hello, Keith Lee, you're the new guy around here. Well, you should know that Team Taz is running things in AEW, and me and Hobbs here don't care. So when you get here, you start from the bottom, and well, it doesn't matter. You're not winning this because Team Taz is winning the ladder match." But yeah, like you kind of said earlier, Keith Lee barely says anything here. And Ricky Starks, again, who's just has been this jobber, comes in here and it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Like, I'm over Keith Lee already.
Yeah, it's like, Keith, you're lit. But
he's there. Looks like he doesn't want to be there. He's got his hat on, his hood up. He looks like he can't be bothered. He says 5 words and then, like, yeah, I feel like he should have had a match again. You know, or at least done something on a Rampage or something.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't feel special again already. And sure, he'll probably win this whole thing and have a great showing in the match. And hopefully after the pay-per-view, they can feature him a bit more. But you need to keep with that momentum. He had such a hot debut, and he's just in the background since then.
Yeah, what I would do is I wouldn't have him win the ladder match. I would have someone in the match who he feuds with because of him not win. Like it spirals off, because I just don't think like winning the match and then winning the title right away is just kind of like, maybe let him build with like a feud or something. So maybe him and Hobbs have a feud, or him and
that's the tease. That was the tease. They had like the stare down here, and it's like, all right, these two behemoths going at it. It could be cool.
Yeah. This is when they have an ad for Double or Nothing, Sunday, May 19th in Vegas. That whole week in Vegas sounds like they have a lot planned there. The Dynamite, the live Rampage, maybe like Star Fest or whatever they call it, wrestle things.
Starcast,
yeah, remember that? They announced the matches for Rampage this week is Orange Cassidy versus Anthony Bowens in the qualifier for the Face of the Revolution match, which I think we can assume is Orange Cassidy.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
And then Deeb's 5-minute challenge, and then Sammy versus Andrade, which, yeah, I'm going to have to check out on Rampage. They also announced next week for Dynamite is the Casino Tag Battle Royale, and Hangman, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon.
Nice.
That should be.
I didn't catch any of that because, I mean, this was even faster than normal because they were really trying to get through to the main event here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Excalibur had quite the task here, just whizzing through these, yelling at me.
Yeah, whenever Excalibur has to read these things, it's fast. But because, like we mentioned, they were clearly way short on time here. So they were trying to rush to this main event so they could have time, and then the angle after. But Excalibur here was like at the end of those like American drug commercials. Like, and here are all the side effects, and don't take it. And he's like, and watch right, bitch. He's just going. I'm like, dude, your voice is shut. Wow, just nuts. Main event time. Daniel Garcia, Red Death, going up against Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, one-on-one, and definitely a match that had a lot of people's eyes and attention on it here. Danielson early attacks Garcia and does a butterfly suplex into the cross arm breaker, just chef's kiss. Garcia gets out of it and then goes for Danielson's knee with a chop block and starts working the knee during picture-in-picture, starts slamming it against the ring post on the outside. When we come back in, Danielson's hopping on the apron and does the running knee off to the outside onto Garcia, gets him back in the ring and goes for the tiger suplex, which is just beautiful, but he can't quite get the bridge for the pin. So he right away turns it into cattle mutilation. You knew Garcia was probably in pain, but probably had a little smile on his face because I'm sure he's a big Danielson fan. Garcia eventually gets out of this, which was great, and then locks in an ankle lock. And I don't think I've seen this in quite a while. This gave me like Ken Shamrock vibes, where he's got the ankle lock, but with his, like, while he's standing, he's using his feet to just stomp at Danielson while he's put him in the hold, which was just great. Danielson does eventually get out of that, and they're going back and forth with like Roman, like the Greco-Roman
like knuckle lock.
Yeah, like they're holding each other's arms down and doing that, and then they eventually get to their feet, but they're still locked in this when they start doing strikes with it. I can't say I've ever seen this. So this
was awesome. I've never seen this before.
Yeah. So while in this hold, they're like forearming each other, elbowing each other, striking each other. I could say that you will be definitely seeing this spot being reused in a lot of up and coming wrestlers things, because it just looked great. This then turns in just to a wild slap fight before they're going after each other. Garcia thinks he has Bryan's number and goes for a slick dragon screw, but Danielson, being the vet here, counters the dragon screw. I did, again, never seen this as well. Just basically counters it without going for the roll through. So Garcia is now on the mat. Danielson keeps the wrist control and stomps in the head of Garcia, locks in that triangle, and, well, we've seen him win with this before, and it is over. Danielson wins. Yeah, is it the Diaz? Who does that?
Yeah, flexing the biceps as he's doing it.
So Danielson beats Garcia in a pretty quick match, but I will say it did definitely deliver. These guys probably were told, hey, sorry, you got a little less time than you thought, but wow, from that Roman lock to the thing, like everything in this was quick and well calculated, and one day we will see the rematch. And
I hope so. Yeah, I hope, like, Daniel Garcia obviously has a very similar style to Bryan Danielson, and I do hope we see the formation of this faction after Revolution. I think Garcia's very good, and I would like to see a more substantial match when he's a bit more of an upper mid-carder, or a main eventer or something down the line, if Danielson's still around in a couple of years. But good match, definitely could have done with some more time, but I did really appreciate the stuff that they did with it, and as you said, quite innovative stuff I haven't seen before, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Danielson, again, always on another level compared to everyone else, just is the king of this shit, honestly. So impressive to watch. But yeah, Garcia is the one to watch for the future. I mean, Buffalo Kid here, seeing him on the indies, and he had that accident, and now he's here and like wrestling, which I'm sure is just probably one of his favorites. Just, I'm super excited to see where that guy can go. But also, like, the tease with Danielson and Moriarty and all that is just crazy. But it doesn't end here, because after the match, Danielson grabs the microphone and was like, hey, was that violent enough for you, Garcia? When 2.0 attack Bryan. So it's a 3-on-1 beatdown when Wild Thing hits. Moxley coming through the crowd. Tony was like, run, Moxley, run through the crowd. We don't have time.
Yeah,
run.
Do you wonder, like, when he makes his entrance, this is his entrance, but was he just hanging out looking at the merch at this point and was like, I guess I gotta go and save this dude?
He was already there. Yeah, he's coming through the crowd. He goes in there and he cleans house, and we see Garcia's got a chair, but Danielson gets back up and takes the chair away from Garcia, which then allows Mox to hit the dirty deeds or the paradigm shift on Garcia. When now Danielson and Mox are in the middle of the ring together, Danielson picks up the mic again and says, "You said that you need someone that you can bleed together with before you team together with. Well, I don't need this," pointing to his chair as he throws it away. "I don't need this to make anyone bleed. And at Revolution, it's me and you. And don't be surprised if you're the only person bleeding in that match." So it is now official. Mox agrees. Revolution 1-on-1 in a nice exhibition code of honor match between Moxley and Danielson, which now they're telling me there's going to be blood.
In a
there
let's
will be
bleed
blood.
match.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we got a dog collar on the pay-per-view too, but wow. Yeah. As Dynamite goes off the air.
Yeah, mixed bag of a show. Like pretty much all the promos were excellent, and I think they've done a great job building up this pay-per-view and making it feel like a big deal. I do think in the last few months we've definitely dropped in quality of wrestling on Dynamite. We no longer have that hot opener. A lot of the matches are very predictable, like good, but you look and you know exactly who's going to win every single match when you're looking at it, and just a lot less time given to the wrestling. So it's interesting. It's kind of gone in that direction a bit. I do think certainly the mid card feels a little messy with your Pac and Black and all that stuff, and your Matt Hardy and things. But the big matches are built really well, and this is as much a promo company as it is a wrestling company. So I thought all those segments really shone through tonight, but I was kind of lacking in the wrestling. Even though I enjoyed the main event, it was still pretty short as well.
Yeah, obviously, I think the main event was the match from this show, but it was more of a show to set up for the pay-per-view. So I still think they did a good job in that. But yeah, I think if you just gave maybe another 5 to 10 minutes on that main, that we would be talking about it as I would still say go out of your way to watch it. But I think if you did give it maybe the time it deserved, because I was looking at my clock like, oh man, you're only what? I know we got to do the angle after. So you're going to let these guys wrestle for maybe 8-10 minutes. I wanted to see them wrestle. I could see them wrestle for a while after watching this little taste. So, but still solid. And it got me more hyped for the pay-per-view. So I guess they did their job. They're going to take my money. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that was Dynamite.
That was
Tuesday. Yeah. February 22nd. We're going to be doing this all over again every Wednesday night. We go live on Wednesdays on twitch.tv/upNXT podcast, where we talk and record this show. But of course, if you're listening to this on your podcast app or Apple Podcasts or whatever, if you like us, go give us a nice little review and all that, because it goes a long way. And of course, you want to hear more from us. Well, we do so many other shows, of course, up next on the free feed, talking about NXT. We got Cino doing Shot in the Dark, covering all sorts of stuff. I can't wait to hear his thoughts on the Control Your Narrative shit that's going on. You heard who they just got signed. Talking about signings, Control the Narrative just signed the biggest Control the Narrative signing, Austin Aries. So I'm just super excited about that federation.
Wow.
I can't wait for the dark side of the ring on Control Your Narrative in 10 let's go 5 years, something like that. So many podcasts, but you want to hear more, patreon.com/upnext. $5 for North American tier. If you don't know, you're unsure, well, March 1st is soon, which means if you sign up, you get access to everything that comes out in March, including all those best matches ever and everything. But you get access to everything we've done. All these podcasts are at your fingertips, at your just exposure, and everything you want is all there. And at UpNXT Podcast on Twitter for all the updates. Anything else, good sir?
Nope. That is everything.
That's it. That's all. I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram. I'm at the Brady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And I don't remember what the line of the night was from this show, but yeah.
Ahoy! Bye.
Goodbye.
First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.